Hi, this is David Crosby, and you're listening to the Blues Room on 105.9 WCXR.
Darling, there's something I've got to say.
Hi, this is Graham Parker. You're listening to the Blues Room on 105.9 WCXR. How about some Lowell Fulson? Rock 'em Dead, how about that one? You got that?
We got it.
Okay. How about it, Thomas?
Rockin' day and night, is that all right with you?
Hello everybody, this is Graham Nash of One Time the Hollies and right now CSN, and I'm out here with David. Let's listen to some John Lee Hooker.
Hey, hello, nice to be here.
What's been happening with you? Rumor has it that you've been up to some exciting projects, so why don't you tell us what's going on?
Exciting projects. Well, right now I'm just doing some gigs with Crosby and Nash and Sean Colvin, and later in the year I'm going to be probably doing some touring behind an anthology that Rhino are putting out, Rhino Records, double CD, coming out September 20th, called Passion Is No Ordinary Word. And I'll probably be doing some solo gigs and maybe a portion of the show, the tour with a band, with a horn section, if I can pull it off, if finances, make it possible.
We know the blues have affected your career. It's very obvious when you listen to some of the music. If I recall correctly, if my memory serves me well, you even did a Supreme song, didn't you, back in the 70s?
Yeah, Can't Hurry Love. We used to do that live. That was one of our songs. And if you look back at my first LP, you'll find stuff like Not If It Pleases Me on sort of open tuning, which is just a blues song, and the blues is behind most of it, really.
Where do you think the blues is headed for in 1993?
The blues permeates everything all the time, so the situation is good. Any time, especially in somewhere like England, which is a gimmick-oriented country, you never know when there's going to be a total blues revival. A lot of young guys of 16, 17 playing the blues. It could happen at any moment, and it could happen here too.
You were talking about Peter Green and Fleetwood Mac. Didn't he do an album, or didn't they do an album with Otis Spann?
Possibly they did, yeah. I don't know about that. There's one album I've got to get of theirs, which is a big collection, where Peter Green and Fleetwood Mac do a song called Jumpin' at Shadows by a guy who was a solo artist, and his name was Duster Bennett. And it's an amazing song. If you get hold of that album, I know it was put out at some time. I never got a hold of it. It's Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, Duster Bennett's song. It's called Jumpin' at Shadows. It's really a very cool blues song. And I used to see this guy when I was like 19, Duster Bennett. He was like a one-man band. He'd have a little drum and a harmonica and the guitar, and he'd like often open for Peter Green or Chicken Shack or do his own shows. And he died, I don't know, in a road accident or something, but...
Was this skiffle music, or was just street music?
It was real blues. It was really in the blues revival in England in '69 that this was happening, and John Mayall and all that stuff. And then it sort of evolved a bit into free, and Fleetwood Mac started doing that stuff, and then Play On and Albatross, and all of that was spurred from blues,
What's Nick Lowe and Brinsley Schwartz up to here in '93?
No idea. It's the simple answer. No idea. Brinsley works in a guitar shop, so he's fixing guitars.
Well, that was a hell of a band that you had together, the Rumor.
Yeah, they could play, anything, and listening. I mean, I don't really pay much attention to the old stuff that I've done. I just keep moving forward. But listening to this Rhino anthology that's been put together, it goes from 1976 to 91, and it really, made me feel good to hear it, that stuff was committed to tape and it's there forever.
Our guest tonight is Graham Parker, and Graham is our guest DJ, so you're going to pick some old blues stuff that I guess you used to listen to when you were coming up.
Some old blues stuff. Well, we got to have Dust My Broom, because I was a big fan of Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac and Chicken Shack and all those bands that were big in England in like 1969. That's before I had a record deal. And those white blues guys turned me and a lot of other people onto you know, Elmore James and Muddy Waters and where it all came from, obviously, along with Clapton and Cream and all that stuff. And so let's see. Well, you've got a list of stuff. You've got so much stuff. Well, Mitty Collier, I've got a song by her on something, and you've got a song called Sharing You. I've no idea what it sounds like, but we can give that one a go.
Let's fire it up. Here's Mitty Collier in the Blues Room on CXR.
I don't know why I love you like I do. Sharing you.
Graham, what's ahead for you in '93? You're out here with David.
A lot more music. We're working on a Crosby Nash record, and we're having a good time with it. I've got a bunch of new songs, and David has too, and I'm looking at having to do a solo record too, and a lot of good music is in the future.
I know the blues has affected your career throughout your tenure. If I recall, you did play with Willie Dixon, you and Stephen, back in the '80s. Remember that?
Yeah, I sure do. And I mostly remember my Big Bill Brunsey records from Paris in 53, I think. Good stuff. Yeah, I like the blues.
When you backed up the Everly Brothers, were blues going through your mind then also?
No, not really. It just needed to be colored that way, you know. So that's the way we did it.
Would you pick a couple of blues tunes tonight for us in the blues room? Anything you want.
Okay. Everybody, this is Sonny Boy Williamson, and this is his track, Keep It to Yourself. Hi everybody, this is Graham Nash. You're listening to my friend Thom Grooms in the Blues Room. This is 105.9 WCXR, Woodbridge, Washington. Let's listen to some Howlin' Wolf.
While we're just sitting here rapping, you're up in Woodstock now. You have done some of Rick Danko's songs in the past.
Yeah, me and Rick did 4 dates together. And beginning with one in Bearsville, in the Bearsville Theatre, and we did some of my songs and some of his, and you know, he's an amazing natural musician, great vocalist, and it was fun to see his right arm like wobbling around just like it did on the last waltz, you know, next to me on stage. That was cool.
Why don't you pick some more tunes there, see what we have to go with. Hold on one second. What the hell is this? You hear it? You hear this thing vibrating there? Oh.
No. Let me turn it off. Fix that. There you go. You got it out of the way.
Squeezing out sparks, right?
Let's see, what else have we got here?
Go on. Hey, this is Graham Parker. You're listening to Blues Room tonight, and we're going to hear
We're going to hear Howlin' Wolf, How Many More Years. Peter Green did that one, turned me on to that. You see, we all got it from white people in England, and then it went back to the original. So.
Now, didn't Green write Black Magic Woman?
Yes, he did, yeah. That is the definitive version to me. Santana's version is nice, but the Peter Green version, you know, is what that was the kind of thing that turned me on to blues music. Well, actually, the first time I got turned on to blues music, I was probably about 12, 13, maybe even younger. And we just recently got a TV set, I think, you know. It was a bit slower to get TV in England. And they had a show on, and it was the set was like a railway station. And there was this woman with a guitar. It was the rawest thing I've ever heard, and I think that's what planted the seed in my head that this kind of stuff was actually better than Cliff Richard. You know. And tell you what, if you got Fattening Frogs for Snakes.
Sonny Boy.
Yeah, I had that record. That's a great track.
Now, you know, there's a society called the Sonny Boy Williamson Blues Society. They're trying to restore Sonny Boy's home. It keeps getting hit by lightning, and the guy, Bubba Sullivan, keeps calling me. He's trying to put on concerts like all over the country. He's a friend of Levon's. He went to high school with Levon. And I'll have to give you the newsletter, man. I'll have to send that to you.
Sounds exciting. Yeah, it's kind of... The lightning keeps hitting his...
Lightning keeps hitting the house, and Danko said, you know, they used to tell me that, and I didn't believe it, but it's really true. He lived in a boarding house in Helena, Arkansas, and they want to restore it. They want to make a museum out of it, so...
Well, I had a record out called Struck by Lightning, and the song, there was a song on there that had that line in it that said, you know, lightning strikes the very lucky, so, you know, I guess it's very lucky if your house keeps getting blown away by lightning, you know.
You got the Blues Room on 105.9 WCXR. Our guest tonight is Graham Parker, and Graham is playing some of his favorite blues tunes. You got anything else for us you want to play? What kind of music are you listening to at home now in '93?
Well, I'm just actually been writing a book, really, which is fiction, short stories, scathing indictments, diatribe, and that's really been taking my time up. So I'm concentrating on that, and then I'm going to tour behind this anthology that's coming out, and we'll see what's happening next year. I've got to get back into songwriting, but I need kicking into it, because writing a book is a whole different trip, and it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, Otis Rush, All Your Love, how about that? I miss you.
Here's Otis in the Blues Room on CXR. Thank you for joining us tonight in the Blues Room and picking a few tunes.
Thank you very much. Been nice to be here.
And maybe next time you get through Washington, you'll pop by CXR, maybe play acoustically?
I'd love to, yeah. If I can get the chance at some point, I'll try and play Not If It Pleases Me, which is, you know, pretty bluesy, and whatever else I can think of. A couple of other things, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, Key to the Highway. That's what I can play, Key to the Highway. How about that?
Big Bill Brunsey?
Was it Big Bill Brunsey?
Was it Big Bill?
No. Was it Otis Rush, wasn't it? You'll have to look in your archives. You'll find, was it Otis?
Derek and the Dominoes did a version of it too, didn't they?
There you go. Probably they wrote it and Otis Rush stole it from them. That'll do.
Hi, it's David Crosby. Time for another deep cut on Classic Rock 105.9 WCXR.
I got the key